Welcome back, my wonderful viewers and subscribers. Please do like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much. I really appreciate. Long ago, in the quiet village of Apele, there lived a kind man named Obiora. Obiora was tall and dark with a warm smile. But many years ago, when he was a young hunter, he fell from a tree during a hunt and broke his back. Since that day, he could not walk properly anymore. People in the village said he was crippled, but Obiora never let his disability stop him from being kind and working hard. Even though life was hard for him, Obiora still farmed his little pieces of land with a stick and a hoe. He crawled around his farm, planting yams and maize, and people admired his strength. Look at Obiora, they would say. Even though he cannot walk well, he still works harder than most men. When Obiora was ready to marry, everyone wondered who would agree to marry a disabled man. Many women refused, saying they wanted a husband who was strong and healthy. But one day, a beautiful woman named Amara agreed to marry him. Amara was slim and very beautiful, with big eyes that sparkled and skin as smooth as shea butter. Everyone in the village said Obiora is lucky to marry such a beauty. She must truly love him. Obiora was so happy, and he thanked the gods every day for giving him a wife like Amara. But what Obiora did not know was that Amara did not love him at all. She only agreed to marry him because he owned a good farm and a big mud house. Inside her heart, she hated him for being crippled. At first, Amara hid her feelings and pretended to care. But soon after the wedding, she began to show her true colors. She would frown whenever Obiora called her name. She refused to cook his food on time and sometimes left him hungry. One morning, Obiora asked her kindly, "Amara, can you help me fetch water from the stream?" She folded her arms and hissed, "Why can't you crawl to the stream yourself? Or better still, beg your neighbors. Must I do everything for you, cripple?" Her words cut through Obiora's heart like a sharp knife. He looked at her with sad eyes and crawled outside without saying a word. The neighbors heard her insult, and some shook their heads in pity for Obiora. As days passed, Amara grew even more cruel. She began to beat him with a broom when he complained. She poured hot water near him and laughed when he cried out in pain. "You are nothing but a useless cripple," she would say. "Even the gods regret creating you." Obiora felt his heart breaking into pieces, but he hid his tears and crawled inside his hut. That night, he could not sleep. He prayed to the gods, asking them, "Why have you allowed this woman to disgrace me so?" The next morning, something strange happened. A strange woman named Mama Ifoma, who was known to have spiritual powers, came to visit Obiora, she said quietly, "My son, I have seen how your wife treats you. The gods are angry with her. Do not worry. The gods have a plan." Obiora wiped his tears and nodded. "But Mama, I have nothing left. My dignity is gone." Mama Ifeoma shook her head. "No, my son. The cruel always fall. Watch and see." That same afternoon, as Amara and Chike sat in the compound mocking Obiora, a sudden wind blew through the village. The sky turned dark and thunder rumbled. The villagers ran outside to watch. Suddenly, a voice echoed through the air. "Amara, you have disgraced your disabled husband and mocked the God's creation. Now you shall feel his pain." Everyone gasped as Amara fell to the ground. Holding her legs, she screamed in fear, "My legs! I cannot feel my legs." She tried to stand, but fell down. Her legs were useless. The villagers whispered among themselves, "The gods have struck her. She is crippled now." Chike ran away in fear, leaving her crying in the dirt. Obiora crawled out of his haunt and looked at her with sad eyes. "Amara," he said softly, "do you not understand how it feels?" She wept bitterly and begged him, "Forgive me, Obiora. Please, help me." Obiora turned to Mama Ifeoma, who stood quietly watching. "Mama, what should I do?" Mama Ifeoma replied, "Your heart is kind. Show her mercy if you wish, but let her learn her lesson." Obiora helped Amara back into the hut and began to care for her. But she was no longer proud or cruel. Every day she said, "I was wrong. I have learned my lesson." The villagers now respected Obiora even more. They said, even though she disgraced him, he forgave her. He truly has a heart of gold. Amara's beauty faded as her spirit became humble. She now sat quietly beside Obiora in the evenings, helping him share maize and roast yams. She no longer shouted or mocked anyone. One day, as they sat under the moonlight, Amara whispered, "Thank you, Obiora, for showing me mercy. I was blind, but now I see that a kind heart is better than strong legs." Obiora smiled faintly and nodded. "The gods teach us lessons in strange ways," he said. "I forgive you, Amara, but never forget, the cruel always fall." From that day forward, the villagers told the story of Obiora and Amara as a lesson for generations to come. They called it "Cruel Wife Disgraced Her Disabled Husband." And everyone learned that mocking the weak only brings shame and sorrow, while kindness brings honor and peace. As time passed, Amara's legs remained weak. She could no longer walk to the market or dance at festivals. But Obiora never left her side. He still crawled to the farm every morning, and in the evenings, he returned with yams, beans, and cassava for the family. Many villagers watched in silence as Obiora worked tirelessly, while Amara sat quietly at home. The same people who once laughed at him now greeted him with respect. "Good evening, Obiora. You are a true man," they would say. Some of the women in the village began to visit Amara at home. They would sit with her and talk gently. "You were very proud before," one woman said, "but now you have become humble." "That is good." Amara nodded and replied softly, "I see how foolish I was. My husband is a better person than I ever was. I only hope the gods will heal me someday." One morning, Obiora surprised everyone. He decided to hold a small feast in his compound. He roasted a goat and shared food with the poor. When asked why, he said, "It is to thank the gods for teaching us all a lesson and keeping us alive." During the feast, Mama Ifeoma came and spoke to the villagers. She said loudly, "Let this day be remembered in Akbele. A kind heart can defeat even the cruelest spirit. Obiora has shown us what true strength is." Everyone cheered, and some even wept. Amara sat on a mat in the corner, ashamed but grateful. She knew she did not deserve such kindness from Obiora. Late that night, after the guests left, Amara called Obiora and held his hand. "Husband," she whispered, "thank you for forgiving me. I don't deserve you. I promise to serve you with all my heart as long as I live." Obiora patted her hand and said, "Amara, we all make mistakes. What matters is learning from them and changing." Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months. One evening, as the moon shone brightly over Akbele, Mama Ifeoma visited again. She carried a calabash filled with herbs and water. She sat with Amara and said, "The gods have washed you. They see you have changed. Tonight, they will test your heart. If you have truly repented, your legs will be healed." Mama Ifeoma poured the herb water over Amara's legs and chanted softly. Then she told Amara to try standing. Everyone watched with bated breath as Amara slowly rose to her feet. She wobbled at first, then stood firmly. Tears rolled down her cheeks. "I can stand! I can stand!" she cried out. Obiora crawled to her and hugged her tightly, both of them in tears. The villagers clapped and danced. They shouted, "The gods are merciful. They have forgiven her." Even Chike, who had fled from the village long ago, never returned. From that day, Amara changed completely. She woke up early to sweep the compound, fetched water for Obiora, and cooked his meals with love. The people began to respect her again, but she never became proud. She often followed Obiora to the farm, even though he insisted she rest. She said, "If you can walk despite your pain, I will walk through. We are in this life together. At the next village festival, Obiora and Amara were given the seat of honor. The chief stood up and said, "Tonight we celebrate Obiora and Amara, who have taught us that kindness and forgiveness are greater than strength." People sang songs in Obiora's name, and children danced around him. He smiled shyly, but said nothing, letting his heart speak through his quiet courage. That night, as they lay on their mats under the stars, Amara whispered to him, "Husband, the story of cruel wife disgraced our disabled husband will always be told in this land. But it is also the story of how love and forgiveness can heal even the deepest wounds." Obiora smiled and nodded, replying softly, "Yes, Amara, let it be told, so others may learn from it." Together, they drifted to sleep, their hearts finally at peace. Here are moral lessons that we can learn from this story. Cruel wife disgraced her disabled husband. Pride and cruelty only leads to shame and sorrow. Kindness and forgiveness are more powerful than anger and revenge. Never mock or look down on others because of their weakness. The same weakness could come to you. The gods or even nature watch how we treat each other and reward or punish us accordingly. A humble heart and a repentant spirit can restore what has been lost. True strength is not in the body, but in the heart. Thank you, viewers, for watching. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Comment in the comment section below. Let me know what you think about this story. Cruel wife disgraced her disabled husband. Thank you so much. Bye.